Hello everyone and welcome to the 4.0 Ruffian Scoundrel overview, and this spec is rough. Oh god, this is a pain in the arse, this spec. Kinda sucks on short fights. It's alright on long fights because you don't really have to bother with energy management or anything like that. But on short fights, for questing, for dailies, nah, we ain't gonna use this. For PvP, it's okay. It's okay. I think Scrapper is preferable in PvP, to be honest with you, than this one. Although it does have some advantages over Scrapper. Let's look at what we get. Of course, we get our Sharp Bomb, 24-second dot. Okay, it's the longest dot in the game. That's why it kinda sucks for shorter fights. Okay, 24 seconds. We're not gonna get the 24-second duration out of that. Really, it's not really worth using. We also get our Sanguinary Shot, which deals really terrible damage. But for the next 10 seconds, it causes the target to take an additional weapon damage whenever it takes damage from your brutal shots. Brutal shots replaces our backblast or a bleed effect, so it does extra damage based on each bleed effect. Okay, bleed is what we're going to do. Sharp Bomb bleeds, and our vital shot are our two main bleed effects. We also get Point Blank Shot. We may as well talk about it. Point Blank Shot blasts an enemy at point blank range. Now, it does replace backblast, but it can be used from the front, which is very, very nice. Blast an enemy at point blank range. Note that it does more damage from stealth. Okay, that's key. That's key to note that. You'll see it has two different damage values, and you'll note that these stealth values also, if you use it from stealth, you gain a stack of upper hand as well. We still use upper hand in this one. We also have Cheap Shots, increases the damage dealt by quick shot, blaster volley, point blank shot, and brutal shots by 5%. Additionally, after using point blank shot, we gain cheap shots for 6 seconds, which increases the damage done by our sharp bomb and vital shot by 10%. Think of it as weakening blast of this spec. Okay, it's going to come from point blank shot, so we're going to get point blank shot. It is obviously quite key to our DPS. We also get the critical chance by 5%. One of the things that we also get Cold-Blooded, which again is fairly similar. Increases the damage dealt by our bleeding effects on targets below 30% maximum health. If a target dies with Sanguinary Shot, it finishes the cooldown, which is more of a PvP thing than a PvE thing. We get Scurry, which is quite useful as a defensive ability. Increases the duration of our dodge by 1 second and our effective stealth level by 2. When we activate Scamper, we gain Scurry, which makes our Colto Pack activate instantly, and it will cost no resources. So it costs no energy, nor upper hand. Okay, and it can only occur once every 10 seconds. So, you know, it can be quite useful. Mostly useful in PvP. We scurry away, and you'll see here, it's free, it's instant cast. We had no upper hand, and we get a little hot from it. So, you know, it's not too bad as a defensive ability. It can be used as a, you know, if we took damage, or if we're about to take sort of unavoidable damage, we can always scamper. And scampering, we take reduced damage. Well, in fact, we don't take reduced damage. Do we take reduced damage well in this one? Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. It's just a standard thing. And then we can pop that off and get a free instant cast Colto Pack there. So we've taken a bit of damage. Quite useful there. Quite useful while raiding. Quite useful in PvP. We also get Fighting Spirit, which reduces the cooldown of Cool Head by 15 seconds. And our critical bleed effects restore 2 energy. Interestingly enough, that we don't really gain energy regen from Alacrity here. We gain energy regen from crit, okay, because critical bleeds, and we're gonna have 100% uptime on our bleed effects, so critical bleeds will give us 2 energy per tick, and it has no internal cooldown. Okay, there's no internal cooldown on this ability. Sharp Bomb reduces the movement speed of affected targets. It's a PvP thing. Vital Shot has a 10% chance to deal its damage twice whenever it harms a target. Okay, it's kind of RNG Mortal Wound. Sharp Bomb makes its targets assailable for 45 seconds. Assailable targets take more damage from elemental and internal damage. For us, it's internal. Okay, we do internal. Bleeding is internal damage. So again, we want our Sharp Bomb up as quickly as possible. Pugnacity also gives us 10 energy as well. And it reduces the cooldown of Pugnacity. Pugnacity is very, very nice in this spec. Gaining more alacrity is pretty nice, okay. What else have we got? We've got Unfair Advantage. Blaster Whip triggers Unfair Advantage, makes our next brutal shots re-grant upper hand and cost no energy. Brutal Shots is essentially our Cull. Essentially it's our replacement for Cull. Exploits upper hand, then it is our upper hand spender. Exploits upper hand to fire a volley of wounding shots. Deals moderate weapon damage. It's okay. If for each bleed effect present on the target, there's an additional internal damage. Okay. It does require and it does consume upper hand. This is what we're going to spend upper hand. Okay. We also got black market mods where Blaster Volley will spread our Vital Shot. Incidentally, it's going to be Blaster Volley and not Sharp Bomb that spreads. So what we're going to do when we're AoEing is we're going to put Sharp Bomb up first because it does have the debuff. Then Blaster Volley, then if I can get a mouse over it, Vital Shot, and then Blaster Volley to spread it. Okay, because Sharp Bomb is an AoE. Okay, it's a grenade. It deals damage to 8 targets. So Sharp Bomb already is a dot spread. Just pointing out. Our new ability at 64 is Sanguinary Shot. Deals 5% more damage, and Sharp Bomb has a 10% chance to tick twice. So most of our things, we do have Mortal Wound and sharpened materials. You get a 10% chance for each dot tick to tick twice. Okay, which just kind of sucks. It's RNG, really. A lot of RNG in this spec. It's too RNG reliant for my liking, to be honest with you. In terms of utilities, again, Smuggle Get Up. Most bosses, again, PvE will do some sort of AoE effect. We're thinking, you know, again, Sword Squadron, so 30% less damage taken from area effects is pretty nice. And again, Scar Tissue increases damage reduction by 5%. You want to take 5% less damage. Less chance that we're going to get killed is very, very good. Let Loose if we're cleaving, if we're doing a lot of cleave. Blasted Volley, 25% more damage. Curbing Shots, not that great really. Quick Shot, Blaster Volley, reduce the movement speed of our target. Bear in mind that for PvPing, Sharp Bomb gives you 30% movement decrease anyway, so not really. Sneaky is quite nice. Again, we do want to be in stealth. Increase the movement speed by stealth and stealth level by 3. Again, it gets us closer to the boss without aggroing. You can also take holdout defense when we slap the target with Blaster Whip or bludgeon. Well, we Blaster Whip in this case. Increase the movement speed by 50% for 3 seconds. So it can be pretty helpful. Particularly on fights like Underlurker, if you're about to kill one of the Lurkerlings, you can just hit it with Blaster Whip before it dies, and then get the movement speed increase, okay, when you go to the next one. Although we do have Trick Move as well. In terms of Masterful, now the one that is required for the spec is Flee the Scene. Okay, take Flee the Scene in this spec. Reduces the cooldown of Disappearing Act by 30 seconds, okay? That is the crucial part. Okay, that is the crucial thing, because bear in mind, our point blank shot does more damage from stealth. So, whenever we use our Disappearing Act, it's a 2-minute cooldown. Okay, reducing it to 90 seconds is very, very useful. If we take a 5-minute fight, for example, we are going to get, at a 2-minute cooldown, we're going to get 3. Okay, we can do 3 possible point blank shots from stealth. Okay, 2 in the fight, 2 with Disappearing Act because it's a 2-minute cooldown, so you get 4 minutes. So you can add that up. It's about 4. It'll add up to within the 4 minutes. And of course, we're going to open from stealth as well. So we get 3 in this. If we do take the Disappearing Act reduce cooldown, we can get 4th. We can get a 4th stealth out because it's going to be 90 seconds. If the fight's about 5 minutes long, we do get an extra. We get an extra point blank shot from stealth. And bear in mind, it does more damage and it does more internal damage as well. Okay, so it's more initial damage, and it does kinetic damage, which is the initial blast, and it does internal damage, which is a bleed as well. So again, increasing our, we got all bleeds have increased the damage dealt by bleeding effects by 15% on targets lower than 30% health. So it's going to be very good. So that's a bleed effect. The internal damage is a bleed effect. So it is going to benefit from things like that. Okay, so we want to get extra disappearing hacks out. So that is pretty crucial there. The rest of the things, cool head, keep cool, should we say, cool head event can be useful there. Supplemented med pack, not really for PvE. It's just a waste of global cooldowns when we could be using them for damage. It's much better, in my opinion, to take med screen, because med screen is one global cooldown. You'll take less damage from while having your defense screen up, and you'll get a 5% heal at the end of it, whereas you have to kind of manage this. And we're not a healer. As a healer, it makes sense for this, because what we can do as a healer is we can refresh it with emergency med pack, and you know, keeping it up on yourself is not a bad idea. Dirty Trickster, again, if we have to have movement impairing effects. Sunder purges are movement impairing effects. Other than that, really, it's pick and choose. If we're struggling for energy management, keep cool. Keep cool is useful. Med screen, should we say, but flee the scene is essential. Now, when it comes to heroic, got a few options. If you're taking spike damage, hot wire defenses is the way to go. Okay, fights like Sword Squadron is again the example. Sword Squadron's the best example, because Sword Squadron hard mode, one thing that's a certainty is you're going to take spike damage from gravity. Okay, the grenade you'll get occasionally as well, but again, increasing the amount of damage absorbed by defense screen by 30%. It is spike damage. So it is just going to be a one-off hit that's guaranteed every minute of the fight. Okay, it's a 30-second cooldown, so we can be under the effect. 25-second cooldown with the with the smuggled defenses one as well. So we can what we can do is every time a gravity comes up, we take no damage. Basically, that's what this allows us to do, and we can even have a 5% heal at the end of it. So it is very useful if we're taking constant damage. Surprise comeback can be pretty useful as well. Okay, pugnacity grants a surprise comeback, restoring 5% of our total health every 3 seconds, and it's a 20% damage reduction for the duration of pugnacity. So again, this can come in handy. If we're taking sort of constant output, then it's fine. Scramble, if we're taking Underlurker is where we use Scramble. Every time we get attacked, the cooldown of our dodge is reduced by 3 seconds. Okay, dodge on Underlurker is a godsend. Okay, the cross mechanic is irrelevant with dodge. Okay, you can stand in front. Again, I did this every time we did Underlurker in hard mode for progression back in 3.0. I was a scoundrel healer, and every single time I stood in front of him. Okay, the debuff you get is irrelevant because you're gonna take no damage. I stood in front on the cross, the tank went behind, and you had like your DPS and the other healer on the left and right of him, and it doesn't matter. Because the dodge is going to be, what Scramble allows you to do is get the dodge available every single cross, because you're going to take damage from the ads in that fight, and it is going to reduce the cooldown of your dodge, which is quite nice. It goes down very fast, and it makes it always available there. So again, if you're doing Underlurker, you're going to want to take that. There's no real need to get the bulge in this spec. Tendon Blast. The problem is we have quite a few upper hand granters here. We've got Point Blank Shot from Stealth, which we are going to be using. With Disappearing Act on cooldown. We also got Blaster Whip and Sanguinary Shot. 15-second cooldown on Sanguinary Shot. So we do want to get that. In terms of gearing, you see crit restores our energy. However, this is a dot spec, so Alacrity is going to be a benefit. Priority, we kind of lean in lower gear. We tend to lean a bit more on crit, but as we get better gear, Alacrity starts to come back. Okay, we are quite low geared. I'm in the Vanguard gear as well here. I do have this, and I also have a 220 It's got a 1-2-4 augment. I do have to replace that. I'm aware of that. Shitty level 44 now. 1-2-4 augment is. Jeez, I know. I just threw it in a legacy piece because I had this. I need the accuracy from this. I couldn't take the extra alacrity enhancement that my Vanguard has in the boots. I needed the accuracy for that to be at the cap because I've got an alacrity. Still Revenite thing. It's still good. If you look at the power here, 152 from the Defiant Initiative package versus 171 power. So, you know, it's still, you know, Revenite still good. You know, it's still decent. Obviously, we're lacking alacrity, and we did augment. I think I augmented it for, yeah, augmented mastery, but we need to change that. But obviously, we'll swap that out as we get on. In terms of the rest of the gear, most of the gear that we want is going to be crit. We probably want about maybe 35 on the crit, and we want about 6%. 6 to 7% alacrity. We're not going to hit 10% as a healer. I think we need a bit more. I'm missing an enhancement here, and this thing only has 120 as opposed to 160. This is 233. I've got one augment in there, 1208 augment that my Vanguard uses, but this is not her gear, so don't judge her gear too badly. So again, crit increases our energy. It gives us more energy back. Alacrity though speeds up our dot ticks. So being a dot spec, we don't have to be behind the target on this spec because we can use point blank shot from the front, which is decent. So we're not tied to being always behind the target. Bear in mind, sharp bomb and vital shot can be used at 30 meter range, which is quite useful because we can refresh our dots, which tends to give the spec the advantage in terms of raiding over the scrapper spec. So we're gonna go again. We can use trick move to get into close to the target. Bear in mind, trick move can also be used on an ally. We pointed that out earlier in the scrapper video. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open from stealth, point blank shot. Okay, we want point blank shot will grant us upper hand and will do more damage. So point blank shot is our priority. We're then gonna put both dots up. Sharp bomb first, vital shot, sanguinary shot, and then brutal shots. Spend your upper hand on brutal shots, get your upper hand back, brutal shots again, point blank shot on cooldown, brutal shots, again generate ourselves an upper hand, get some brutal shots, sanguinary shot on cooldown, keep your brutal shots up, and again just refresh these two dots and give yourself upper hand. And basically that is it. Brutal shots whenever that is up. Sanguinary shot is the priority. Bear in mind, if Blaster Whip and Sanguinary shot are off cooldown, then Sanguinary shot is our priority. Okay, this takes over as the priority. So we want to use Sanguinary shot on cooldown. We want to keep the dot ticks up. A vital shot, we want to use point blank shot on cooldown. Now what we want to do is after our first kind of rotation, we'll go back into stealth. We'll pop that off, we'll put our two dots up, again get this as target susceptible, pop that up, sanguinary shot up. Couple of brutal shots into stealth when this comes off cooldown actually, and then fire off again. We should have actually waited there until this comes off cooldown. We want to go into stealth and then we want to hit point blank shot, because bear in mind, we want to get into stealth as quickly as possible. Okay, it just gives us that extra one out. Again, bear in mind it does more damage. That's the key to the spec, is this will do more damage. Okay, point blank shot will do more damage from stealth as well. But the key thing is sanguinary shot, always the priority over blaster whip. Okay, blaster whip, sanguinary shot is just more of a benefit. Brutal shots is our upper hand spender. Make sure you get the two dots up before you use brutal shots as well. Sharp bomb is always your priority over vital shot, because sharp bomb does make the target assailable or susceptible or whatever. It puts a debuff on it that makes it take 7% more damage. So you want to get these things off. Point blank shot, keep on cooldown. Be careful when using blaster whip on cooldown. Okay, we don't really want blaster whip on cooldown. We obviously want to pop pugnacity after. Generally pugnacity is after we put the dots up. So pugnacity, sanguinary shot, okay, and pugnacity after sanguinary shot, because the goal for the spec is to get as many global cooldowns out, get as many kind of brutal shots and point blank shots out under that 10-second window. Okay, so pugnacity extends that. That's why we want alacrity in the spec as well as crit. It's not an all crit spec. It does benefit nicely from some alacrity. Gets us more global cooldowns out during that 10 seconds. Okay, takes additional damage whenever it takes damage from brutal shot or a bleed effect. So brutal shot, and bear in mind point blank shot is a bleed effect as well, does do internal damage. So that is going to benefit from your brutal shots. So always keep that in mind there. So again, it's all about, that's why you pugnacity, sanguinary shot, I don't know how the fuck you say that, and then get as many of these out and get a blaster whip and try and get as many point blank shot, brutal shots out under that 10-second window as possible. Where the hell is Risha gone? She was here in the last video and she's gone. She's gone. She left me. She left me. She left me, Treat! At least you won't leave me, Treat. You're my little furball. Oh, she was here in the last video, and now she's buggered off. Maybe it was a bug fix. I don't know. But anyway, there we go. Ruffian, it's okay for raiding. It's okay for long fights. You know, 24-second dots. Both are dots for 24 seconds, so it's awful for short fights because you can't get the duration out of it. In terms of cleave, again, we're just going to go get our grenade out first, put your vital shot up, and then spread your dots with, this sucks, blaster volley. I didn't do a cleave rotation with what's it called? You can also use sharp thermal grenade. It's fucking awful. It's fucking awful, this spec, in terms of cleave. I'm actually stuck there. Oh, we dead. Oh, we're dead. Oh, that's a good ending to the video, really. So we didn't even bother showing you a cleave rotation with, she's like, oh, shit. Oh, she's too hungover to be revived. Private quarters. There we go. You can die on your ship. There you go. You can actually die on your starship. Thank God there's no repair cost. I wonder if they fixed that bug. I don't think they had. There wasn't any downtime today, so there you go. In terms of single target, it's pretty good, this one. Cleave, we didn't even cover a cleave rotation because honestly, cleave is not worth it in scrapper spec. There is a little bit of cleave, you do a bit of dot spread. The big problem is this fucking, it's terrible. This is fucking horrible. This blaster volley. What I want to know is, right, we have a shotgun. Why are we using the pistol to cleave? Why doesn't blaster volley use the shotgun to cleave? Look at Bulow. What does Bulow do? He has a shotgun. What does he do? Big cleave. Okay, I want that. I want Bulow's abilities in the Scoundrel spec. I mean, it makes sense with the rifle as the operative, but come on, BioWare, give us a better animation. And also, the bastards took away, of course, our orbital strike. Sons of bitches, which really ruins our cleave rotation. It just makes me angry. That's why I don't talk about cleave very much as a Scoundrel, because it pisses me off. We remember those orbital strikes that we had back in the day. So anyway, that is all for this video. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again soon, and goodbye.